I've been conducting professional staff development to teachers of all grade levels in the area of science for the past 23 years. During the last 4 years, most of the professional staff development I've been conducting is focused on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And I leave every one of these sessions feeling so elated that I have truly made a difference in these teachers' lives, which in turn, they will make a major difference in their students' lives. What STEM allows teachers to do is to become facilitators. STEM is student-driven, not teacher-driven. It's inquiry-based. It allows teachers and students to think creatively, develop critical thinking skills, and strengthen communication and collaboration skills. And those four are lacking in our educational system. I truly believe that STEM practices and content can transform our educational system in our nation and the world. The following photos and videos that you'll observe in this PowerPoint are from STEM teacher training sessions I've conducted within the last 3 years. You will observe that teachers are totally immersed and engaged in the investigative process. They become transformed. They change the way they think, thus changing the way they teach. They go back into their classrooms becoming facilitators, allowing students to be creative, think critically, and develop their communication and collaboration skills. It is through STEM education that I believe that our country can be transformed to produce students who will excel in the 21st century. What'd you build there?
Seesaw.
Seesaw.
See what it looks like before she decides to go.
Much to work with.
Also the mayonnaise and the mustard. And what I'm going to do right now is
Like a bit of a fin. Wait a minute. No, not on that side. It'll have to be on the front.
But we have different things.
Yeah. Whoa.
Well, what I want to know is if I use a stabilizer at the top, would it keep it floating longer? And then here I have a place where air can flow through the parachute, so I'm planning on trying to put openings in so that we'll have a great airflow to see if that will also keep the parachute afloat longer.
And the dome's going to have more than 20 panels probably.
Okay, well then let's do the dome.
Well, but we need to figure out how much.
They're flexible to work with.
They have the flexibility of the marshmallows, but with more structural stability than
And not only that, but you can keep it consistent where you're gonna use.
Yeah, you can use, like, I was telling them, like, when we went to the bottom, started on the back, we put them on their backs and we poked through their eyes so that we knew the same place on each one.
And then poke them to the...
And then we're poking them through the legs and like right under the ears.
Well, since we were building the dome, we chose, for the base, we chose a hexagon. And it was bugging me how we couldn't make it work. So I started thinking about Fibonacci, how it was coming up throughout the conversation, and I thought about triangles, you know, how a hexagon you can make it out of triangles, and I was trying to come up with a pattern, trying to find out the Fibonacci sequence. I couldn't, but now if you do that with the perimeter of the hexagon, and then you apply the Fibonacci sequence, it comes out to be pretty nice.
We're trying to make it as wide as we can, like big a surface area. And we're gonna tie each one individually. Then we're gonna brace. We have some shorter ones to brace. I just went around the next one.
Panels from this Radio Shack one, there are more panels covering the surface than there are in the, where'd you get this one?
Sundance Solar.
Sundance Solar. So because there are more panels, it was our buzzer was louder using this solar panel than this one.
Okay, now we just have to get it really secure inside there. Is it straight?
Okay. I'm just going to single knot it in case it doesn't work. Here.
We don't want any on the outside.
Aren't these going to the middle?
They're all going to go to the middle, but yet this was, see, this one has to be connected.
Yeah, you're right.
Or are they spread out?
They're a little bit spread out.
Okay. Well, we better just, plus we put it right here.
I mean, you did this, but it didn't fall.
That's just to make that solid.
Ceremonial, and then we all were thinking homes, and then we had all kinds of thoughts going through before we put it together.
Weighed this one already. Still got the mask. Huh.
Now it's worse.
What's that one? 10.3?
That's one we already measured.
No, that's one we'd already measured. Is it 10.4? We already measured it.
10.3, 10.4, we already measured that.
The pattern of the bricks and how they're offset for strength and how the roof is slanted so the water can run and it won't stay on the top of the roof. What did you call it? Flashing?
On the lines of the building, that I totally didn't even realize the bright yellow half circle there.
So we know the hollowness allows for capillary action, which allows for the pin use. It also goes into medical field and sciences, just like our pipettes. And the leading edge, we noticed the feather was shorter. The feather tongs, or whatever you want to call those, are shorter and longer on the other, just like a wing design.
With just the styrofoam base and a toothpick, and it didn't hold as much as we wanted it to. So we went back and switched to the noodles to give us more surface area on our legs, and then put something on the bottom.
Some rocks down below, and some soil, one worm, 2 pill bugs, and some of the plant matter, and some bird seed. And so should be able to get the water cycle going pretty good. I know you said that the producers are going to be producers are usually the plants, and the animals are the decomposers and consumers.
If anything, it's just to make it look zero.
What have you been observing?
The pattern of the bricks and how they're offset for strength and how the roof is slanted so the water can run and it won't stay on the top of the roof. What did you call it? Flashing?
I think that's
It's that same thing, how water trickles down to the floor. So nature's influenced man-made. Just watch a leaf influence that water. And then we saw the ants.
Oh, I didn't see any.
When we took a look at ants, how there's teamwork, exploration, and everybody has a job.
Yeah, everybody had, and nobody complaining.
On the lines of the building that I totally didn't even realize the bright yellow half circle there.
Or break it lights up, go to a different color, and our teacher said write about it what you know about a glow stick. So when she said, when you shake it, I told her when you shake it glow, and when you break it, it glows.
And how does a solar panel work?
You put it outside, and for 15 minutes, then you connect it into something called a connector or something.
And that panel does what? What does that panel do?
It gives light energy.
Every center, like ones that you're explaining, like that one, you need gravity, slopes, volume, and shape to go down a slope. Just because slopes, you need it to come down, and shape, like you can't put a block like this going down a ramp.
Beautiful. She must be an artist.
Very nice.
One, two. She's in the advanced class for sure.
Yeah, we have the advanced.
Yeah.
This is the gifted and talented.
We said one of these two at all corners.
Oh, that's a smart idea. I love that. Look how cute. It's just doodling, but it's all like, see, that's the mother bird that we can't be. No, it's the bird.
So we blow it up with the tape that catches.
Good.
Roll with it.
Okay. Yeah.
Ran a straw through the middle and then put the skewers through the straw so that
I like the skewers through the straw. Yeah.
Back and the smaller wheels in the front. We picked caps with at least a little something akin to tread on them. We hooked the balloon, the propulsion system is the straw on the balloon, and we hooked it with rubber bands. We anchored the back wheels with that doo-dah stuff. And we threw the headlight on just because it was laying on our table, the finger light, so we could have a soundtrack.
One headlight.
wheels behind the lines.
You would have Okay, so 3, right?
Yeah.
And then at the top, now we make another triangle base, but now it's only like half the size. Smaller. And then you keep going. And then this is good. So do we think now this, or do we think prism again? What do you think? Are we gonna go? How are you gonna attach higher? Well, let's see what.
It's leaning too far.
We need the wider tape. The skinny one doesn't seem to hold it. So just go over top of this with a fold of tape down right there.
Gotta make like a 10.
That's what I'm
Dad just poked the holes through, threaded it through, so nothing coming up there. It swings free to and fro.
He's got a paper clip, a thumbtack, and then a paper clip.
We're talking about the Heaven's Flame cooker. How much is that?
And what does it do?
It's more expanded at the top, it's wider, and then it comes down into a central location or point.
I don't know about the class.
Because if you don't trap it, how's it going to stay on? Because
it's drawing the heat.
It's drawing right to it.
Because we've got our base for it.
2 by 6.
2 by 6.
Oh, wait a minute.
I don't know what the base
I don't
is.
have any. It's right here. Oh.
Let's put this in here, make sure.
Are you getting sick?
I have a cold, yeah.
84.
It looks like, is that in the hundreds? Lord, it's like 100 and, oh, it's going down fast.
60.9. So what, yeah, maybe something else. It's gone. Okay, it's got more. 102.
At Bond Clinic, please.
Just to see how they had them drawn out, so I didn't want to miss any step.
Give 8 minutes.
Front as well, so I put the lens in front of it.
And that's the 7? You should try the 10. Try the 10.
Let's try the 10.
Try the 10.
Oh yeah, it totally does, even on your iPhone.
Oh.
Look at that.
What did it come out to be like? 4?
Well, I was noticing that they're away from, all the way from the plate. They get smaller lines like these are 7, and then this one's 1, 2, 3. It only has 3.
2 next
And now there's 2, there's like 1 here and 1 there. Ready, Chris?
To kind of trap in that heat even more so.
Without.
Already.
And longer.
Let's see, that's
Now makes 1. And what did you discover, Miss Hart?
That it becomes still solid, it still repels the material, but you can't separate it after it's put together.
Could you actually absorb it too? Can you pick it back up too?
Yeah. Yes, you can. You can even do that.
They're going to rehydrate. They're going to dry up, right? Dry up to the original shape. And
We have our polymer sphere and then radish seeds that we are hoping to plant into this sphere. Oh.
So if I look through here, but it's just little cube.
And then with the less surface area catches up. Must have.
The more I watched, the more I saw. The more I looked.
Tell Aaron, this is crooked. It's because kids come out here.
And is that a Fibonacci sequence?
Yes.
I see.
Yeah, we got we did nature rubbing bark, and then we did the brick, which was human made.
Well, I was noticing.
I love the word anyways, just to say it's fun. Fibonacci.
We're talking about how the base of the tree is wider and then it spreads out, and then we were looking at the benches and they built them the same way, where the top is wider and the little base is out there.
It's actually, it's a mushroom.
And what did you notice?
The lines on the mushrooms, the patterns on the mushroom.
Yeah.
On the lines of the building, that I totally didn't even realize the bright yellow half circle there.
That was kind of a...
Right. Hexagon. Basically going by some of these, holding them up to the sheet, like looking at those vented vents over there, and put it down and kind of turning it this way and this way to see if they would kind of fit into the
picture and then label it that way.
From those leaves coming off that tree, they're all symmetrical all the way down. So usually you would look for an 8, and these look unusual straight away because there's 4, but when you look closer at them, there's actually little ones coming out, making it 8 petals, not 4.
People are walking or anything like that, or the way the traffic moves.
See anything in this building that an idea might have came from nature or anywhere on the campus? You see patterns in any of the buildings? Okay, the colors, excellent. How about any of the buildings? Are there solar panels anywhere? Okay, the hair building. Is there anything in your bag that has cells in it? Cells. Find something with cells. Cells. Oh my goodness. Pick up something that has cells in it. Pick up something green with cells. Pick up something green with cells. Well, solar panels came from looking at plant cells. Plants are able to make their own food. They photosynthesize. And we're going to be looking at plants using plants. So the big focus for today is looking at nature, but how as humans we have borrowed ideas from nature.
Air pressure's pushing down, so you don't want to smack it onto.
Bosques too, but they also have animals.
That's to get the little pieces that stay in that. And that helps you
Where'd
get
that come from? We were thinking about 2 purposes. The outside part of it as the wasp nest, and then the inside, the threads of the hex nut. We were thinking that maybe it was like a vine or the kinds of animals to bore through shells. I do too.
Used for clipping.
And then stick the egg in there and bundle it back up and then put something on the outside.
Well, we have the fuzzy material around the egg first.
Oh, yeah, we're going to have like a foam cushion on it.
Go ahead.
The champion.
No, it didn't. Right, girl. Oh my God, it did great. Amazing.
And that's not going to penetrate
Is it going to penetrate?
Unfurling, and going toward the corners.
60.9. So what? Yeah, maybe something else.
Or maybe a brain.
It was 0.4.
102.
Dry up to the original shape and then rehydrate.
Some stuff on this one?
Yes, it did nothing.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know what?
Did it?
What are you putting on there?
Vinegar.
Okay.
Maybe the vinegar.
So we were just looking for the rock that would withstand the erosion with road traffic and which stone, what kind would we use in the road. And so what we did is we put one of these and then we went out there and shook it for 30 seconds. And then we came back and put a little cloth over the top and strained out the powder and then weighed what was remaining of the rock after the dust settled. And so Joe's got the findings there.
As you can see, one of them didn't make it at all. None of it was, if it went through the cheesecloth, it was determined not usable. So we didn't weigh that. That's what we took out.
We simulated a hurricane. We didn't have enough time to, yeah.
It was.
So it was Hurricane Holly. And then Hurricane Jordan.
Because it'll let the liquid come on top.
And had a lot of surface area on the bottom so that the structure wouldn't sink in.
They're thicker, like syrup.
Yeah, more
Has a higher
viscous.
viscosity. The pink, thicker, the color liquid has a higher viscosity.
Fill out and put it in our other cup.
Let's chop it off. Yes. Here.
The more you have.
With the base, using the long skewers, and upon building the dome, we found the top was too weak, so we had to go back and add the more triangular structures to make it stronger at the top and give it better support, having the large size.
Strong.
So what modifications did you make to it?
I put the base X and the roof X, and then I had to extend the sticks to fortify it.
See, I'm glad to know about these.
No, it's not level, right?
So what did you have to do different?
We had to shift
We didn't have enough, we didn't have an octagon, we had 7 sides. We had a septagon. Is it a septagon?
One side, the other side coming down.
And then hit the xylophone, but through lots of trial and error, we had to move our structure forward and backward, and then we even came up with this little thing to try to stop the force, you know, to make it go down. And
we kept moving this forward and back.
and we just kept trying and trying until at least we were getting closer.
Shift too much, so we switched it out with the bigger, thicker blocks and switched the place of the block.
And we had to
It seemed to work better.
Trial and error with our marble. A heavier marble works better.
Versus.
Yeah, like lighter. It was like a just slightly different. That one was just a.
We have to have these coming up in this. Oh, it's a 4, 8,
Her arm just hit it and it didn't fall.
Doing this, we would need layers of it because of expanding and all those things, and grafting and pulling together that you would start shrinking.
It does look like a sling. We'll do it hurricane proof. So we made it as tight and compact as we could. And we figured out that like these blocks are in half. There's one that is not split, and it's the sturdiest, obviously. And then these two are cut in half, but like a wiggle design. So we put them so that they don't line up, so that makes it stronger.
I just thought it would be interesting to see how you could build something that's built on the concept of balance. So I started with one laid on its side long ways, and then built it twos up a ways until you got to the 3rd floor, and then put one column up and one up.
And now there's like one here and one there. Ready, Chris?
Yeah,
Or like
but it's
this.
more in the middle. No, it's upright.
opposite, it
looks like. Look at hers.
They changed 3 out because they split. My base.
I thought it was going to sink too, but let's see if I'm wrong. Float.
Try this, and then we can alter it. We don't need to alter it.
Well, we need to see if it'll carry.
See if it can carry.
figured out, well, Nicole did the first one and she put it in there and it sat small. Yeah. And so she started making the bottom wider so it could hold the weight. The weight. Tape for both, and then I put tape at the bottom so the paper wouldn't get as wet. I put the tape and hold them pretty good.
Now, so what you can do. Oh.
Other side might be a little better than you put the other one.
Just in case, because I'll be right back to figure it out.
How wide do you want to make it? But like you said, do we even need those?
Well, put them, just see. We put it, like, little extra here.
Somewhere in here you got a wheel and axle.
Is it spring loaded?
No.
Yeah.
2 legs.
You need this
knob to turn
just
for the
for
sand, but the
sand.
water just flows through by itself.
So it's probably made for sand. Take a little, I don't know how many. I think it's just one. A wind-up dog.
But like on the inside, there's little wheels with like little pieces connected, and then everything's all interconnected to make it all.
Little venting like along the metal so that when it spins, when you pump it really fast, it'll make like a sound from that venting, and it just sounds like a train, but it's from the way the air hits it and from the venting that's all along the side, because I can feel the air whooshing right there.
It's this thing. So when the thing is poking straight up, only one wheel touches. Like this, when it's little pokey thing in and out. When the pokey thing is right there, it's taller than the wheel, so only this side touches, and it makes it go in a circle. How awesome!
It spins. That one's up, so the wheel can't touch, and this one touches and makes it spin. And obviously that flips it.
So did we say gears and cogs maybe?
But if you put
Gears
more-
and cogs. But if so there's a what is the third lot?
This is yours, Teresa.
We're doing light and energy. Light. Well, I pulled it apart and I look in there, there's like a circuit, there's the little circuits. And I thought, like, when we did our deconstruction day, what we saved all those little pieces of circuit. I'm wondering if we could make one of these.
Right, you know, like a washer. Like a washer. Look, it moves.
But it goes through, yeah, it does, but
It's
the
a
other one
washer,
here?
right?
Yeah. Does this one here? Is there one on the top also?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're washers. Amazing.
Oh, really? You can draw it for me?
So you're thinking, all right, here, you're thinking 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that 4? Are these connected?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think they're 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9, 10, 11. This middle thing. 14.
And a Goodwill, and it's
This is like a bodybuilder. It's like-
I know.
What opens this up is a rubber band. When the force is strong enough and it's spinning fast enough, then it opens up with a rubber band holding these parts together. A simple rubber band at the bottom.
I think when the wheel is moved right here, something inside is forcing these to go opposite ways, like in and out. Because look,
There's like rods or something.
or actually it's more of like it's rocking almost back and forth.
Like a gliding.
Well, look, it like wiggles pretty much.
What's that one? 10-3?
That was one we already measured.
Yeah, that's one we'd already measured as a 10-4.
So we could count up how many, because we tried to build.
Here, yeah, just use both of those now.
Yeah,
12.5.
9.
We'll need a few more.
There's no sag, and then were you looking at me when you said that?
9/11.
What was your smaller folds as opposed to larger folds? The surface area, which is a huge deal. So I think larger triangles seem to work together.
Cut the paper in half and fold it to where you had 2 like railroad tracks. And that did about a third more than this one. Then we said, well, let's try cutting it in thirds, and that's what Trina's doing now. That was a strong one, to cut it in thirds and fold it up and go with
long ones first, right? To get, and then gradually building it, kind of like a pyramid. Yeah, do the long ones first.
Yep, the cables. So then we were able to add a car in the middle to prove that it can support the weight.
We didn't have much to work with.
Relatively solid, a lot more stuff. They get down here.
Base and had them each connected with the small ones. Then I took the tall ones, the taller ones, and made them out. I took these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I took these, the little taller ones, and put them that way, and then made across the top. And then I did the same thing on the base up here. But of course, you notice I used 3 here and I used 2 here for.
You could keep doing, yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's what I did something similar to that on the end of mine.
Okay. Excellent, excellent. And you know what's...
I don't think so. But it will come down on the top though.
Yeah, it won't fit under.
Oh yeah, well, yeah.
We made it.
Trial and errors. Not going out.
Yay. 2 rulers stick together. Kind of got to give it a little push. Oh, come on.
Yeah. Wow, it worked 3 times. Okay, let's try it again.
Well, we had to figure out how to elevate the wooden part first. And we knew we wanted to make it high for the speed. Then we figured out how to connect the foam piece to it to make a loop, and we had to tape it to the chair. And then we connected the race car track to it, and we tried with the marble and this.
Just the one that we started our experiment with is smaller now than it was after it reached maximum.
The last
push it, but oh, that was like a wave behind it.
Okay, our design was a water slide, and we wanted to get the person down the slide, and we really wanted to work on getting them around the bend without flying off the slide.
Oh, yeah.
And the first thing was just to determine which children were the right size.
Here comes. This is the bomb faster. Who thinks smaller one makes the bomb faster?
Little one.
Bigger one.
Bigger one.
A lot of you are on the fence.
What did we say? We'll eat
Let's
three
vote again in a
Try that
minute.
again.
Go, go, go.
Mark and Tickle.
Yeah.
Bigger.
That's 3 times.
We could talk about the distance formula. Distance equals rate times time. We could see how far it can go down the hallway based on the different heights of the ladder run. Friction, the different materials. We were going to do the same length of the foam as we did the cardboard and see if the different materials slowed it down. Made any difference in the rate. And hopefully we could get the actual rate of it as it goes by. But we could measure it too. We could do it without the...
Get the velocity of it so that when it moves off the ramp, it'll still have control when it lands back on.
Thinking that you could, yeah.
All we need is a straw?
Well, the straw to somehow go in there and then you blow up the straw and you, or you blow up the balloon, you stuck it on there and it pushed it because all the air.
Okay, so perfect.
So we just...
That way my balloon can blow up larger.
Hey Eric, give me the other rims, I'll make them, like these ones are going to spin, these ones right here.
Less friction on that. No, you can...
Let's STEM.
Do you mind if I looked at that book? Yeah, for a minute.
And also then added in the mustard. And what I'm going to do right now is
No, they already put it under that. But we're gonna.
We're making a fin. We're thinking about the aerodynamic if we need to. Yeah, we may have some kind of a fin or something. Add, you know, something like a bit of a fin. Wait a minute, no, not on that side. It'll have to be on the front. That roll? No, Gabino.
Oh, it's too sticky.
I know.
But we have different things.
Metal that we used.
We did.
Later, the second time we put.
Yeah. Whoa.
So we can blow it up with the tape and catch it.
I like that use of
Good.
Just roll with it.
Okay. Yeah.
All inside the middle. This one.
It works on that one. I'm sure it works. We're changing the location of our balloon. We're going to sit it back here instead of on top, so that force is true forward and backwards. We're not losing any of that power.
Oh, it's turning.
The wheels on the bus go around and around.
All right, so we.
Was the biggest problem, and now that was the biggest problem to solve. And then the easy part was the second hardest part was the propulsion and how we were going to use the balloon and the straw to decrease the amount of air or increase the air pressure, but slow the release of air at the same time.
Whoa!
Ran a straw through the middle and then put the skewers through the straws so that.
I like the skewers through the straw. Yeah.
It's not 80 bad.
A bigger hole in the middle.
Will it roll then?
Back and the smaller wheels in the front. We took caps with at least a little something akin to tread on them. We hooked the balloon, the propulsion system is the straw on the balloon, and we hooked it with rubber bands. We anchored the back wheels with that doo-dah stuff. And we threw the headlight on just because it was laying on our table, the finger light, so we could have a soundtrack.
One headlight.
Wheels behind the line.
Putting the skewers on is our axle, tying it down with rubber bands, and we got no movement, and we figured the axle has to be able to turn off the wheels. So we decided to put our skewers through the bottle, and that allowed the axles to turn, and then we went with the bigger wheels because the wheels we had been using were the same. We had placed the skewers so that it was dragging butt, so we had to go with bigger wheels.
Okay, good.
Wow.
Now why does that one go better than that one? Well, maybe because you guys have big tires at the front.
About the same.
Concentrating where this one is. Well, but yeah, the one thing you have to think about with the LED is it has the three.
You pull the eye and then paint.
So the difference between.
And you touch the object to the mirrors, it makes the object look like it's in a full circle, so 360 all the way around.
To make my lens right there, and then to hold that in, but I don't like it yet.
Tinfoil on just one of these, and when I put it in, it actually took away from the light. It stopped the light from being reflecting. So just the one wasn't as effective. I thought it would give it a little shine, but it had.
I first tried to reuse the plastic slide covers, and it was too flat, and it did not have enough space in there for the glitter or the sequins to move. And then I found out that it was blocking too much light, so I only put one of the silver ones in there, and I put the opalescent see-through so that I would be able to let the light pass through and reflect, and it is changing colors, which I'm thinking too, using the color.
I had to do it twice. It was too many beads, and then there were too many little chopped pieces of paper, so less I thought it was more. You can tell she's a mechanic.
And then I took the bottom off of the water bottle and cut the little plastic part off the hole. I'm not really sure I like that. I think it's cool.
It's just next to us, so. I like the color comes through.
There's bubbles on the top of that paper.
On the table, you can see how the light and the color changes in the sphere as it's clear.
You guys will see blue, you'll see green, you see
Purple.
red over there, Gina, and then if you're right over the top of it, you see purple.
It's real neat to see the angle of the light going all the way around.
Which one gave you the biggest?
Oh, that's cool. To get that one. That's mellow. Yeah, I still like. I'm just saying put the
Who's doing that? Doesn't matter where it is.
Or it's different sounds.
So it sounds different.
It should be off of the table.
But it was good. Let me see.
How about
This way you actually see the vibrations. You see the waves it creates.
Kind of adds like right here or something. It's coming from here. And these I feel the sound vibrations coming from here. So I guess it's kind of like on the piano.
I really like it. A higher pitched sound than if it's been. And it reminded me of when like I was a kid and I used to take a clothespin and a cord and I used to clip it to my bicycle tires and it would, I don't know.
Depending on the size of the hole, it's going to affect the sound.
But I used to have, because I had toddlers in my class, the moms would sing and would put this to the toddlers' ears so they could hear their mommy's voice. And these are great passion because it really amplifies their voice. Like if they're reading to themselves too.
They sound it makes the same pitch, the same sound, but just the bigger one is louder than the.
But when you take it off, it's like a thin, very thin paper material. And I was wondering, because you blow in right here, and there's only one hole, and then it's hollow inside. So I was wondering, well, where does the air come out that makes the sound? And it comes, you know, this thin material has something to do with it. And then also how much pressure you apply when you're blowing out depends on how loud it is.
Could you give a demonstration?
Okay, why don't you do it very loud?
Oh, come on. We want it loud.
You blow in it, and as you blow in it, you pull the lever back, and then as you push you back on it, I guess the two airs get together, and it can adjust the pitch. Demonstration. Adjust the pitch.
The spring is connected to the bottom, and you just
Loud.
That's
Almost sounds like something's cooking in a pan.
Yes. 5, 6, 7 pieces of metal here, and the length appears to be about the same on the end, so we were wondering if they would sound the same. Almost the same, but those sounded more the same. Those sounded different. And there's one in the middle, really.
We thought it had something to do with the string itself, or there was on the bottom here, I don't know if anybody can see it, but there's a little piece of paper that helps the string stay attached to the drum inside here. But actually, if you pull the string, you can kind of hear the sound the stick and string make together. So then it got me thinking, well, it's like telephone, like you have the can and the string. Basically, all it's doing is amplifying that sound. So the sound is traveling down the drum, and that's what's creating sort of amplification.
Arteries or little capillaries, so kind of related to the human body.
But when you just kind of look at my leaf, I don't know, you know what kind of leaf this is, but it looks like it's just one level, but when you put it in the microscope, it looks like there's actually trenches.
Panels from this Radio Shack, when there are more panels covering the surface than there are in the, where'd you get this one?
Sundance Solar.
Sundance Solar. So because there are more panels, it was our buzzer was louder using this solar panel than this one.
Heated, and then it got a lot quieter. So then we said, well, what happens if it gets turned over and it goes away completely?
It's louder.
Yeah.
See?
There, it's off.
But it takes longer to heat a bigger surface. Yes, but it still might have more heat.
If we could get the heat.
Dull, so it's not as much reflection, it's just absorbing. Because this would reflect more.
Blocking the rest of it getting heated. I don't know. Well, what do you think? That's
but if we wrap it in aluminum foil, it'll still attract heat.
Yeah, but you're not getting much reflection in that little area there. Because here you're blocking the reflection, and you're only going to get this surface area instead of the whole thing being heated. I mean, if you had a match and say, okay, I'm going to heat this thing now. Basically, that's what you're saying. I'm getting a heat source, and I go like this. I'm not heating anything until I get here.
So we're saying we want to get it in here, but if we can't get it in there, then it's going to end up blocking it and
Right.
trapping it.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The idea of trapping it is good, but first you got to get it in.
I think we're done.
I hope it's not windy. So that it's little, like, kind of circles around. I think it maybe like touch the air and maybe rise. And then we had the idea to have it kind of laid out more so that it would have more surface area to capture it. And then we saran wrapped the whole thing, thinking the saran wrap would trap it.
13.5 inches deep. And we wanted to get, depends on where the angle of the sun was, we kind of wanted to make this adjustable. So if we came out at different times of the day, we could, if we weren't able to move the apparatus, we have a little pull string here to change the angles of the sun. And we wanted to trap in the heat below it, so we kind of sealed it, and sat it on saran wrap, and again we sealed it with tape on the bottom, our little table there, and we kept saran wrap here to help keep whatever heat got in there to stay in there.
Okay, any questions from the group at all?
We were just noticing that that your group used the shinier side of the tinfoil.
And we flipped it for the dull side.
Thinking
So
what
it
they
doesn't
would.
reflect as much. It's still going to absorb, but it'll absorb more than it reflects.
Just another way to do it.
This is blocking UV rays.
What is this material?
UV blocker yellow stuff. Like the blue blocker glasses
Yeah.
that, like the old men wear.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
These, I mean, it's still a little bit, but it's faded, so it's blocking some.
$200 glasses.
Did they end up doing it? And then when
Screen on the blue and aluminum foil on the pink, and let's see what happens. And it's getting blue anyway. Sunscreen not working.
Sunscreen not working.
Nope, you're still getting tan. Compared to now, it is exposed.
I know, that's what I did with my sunglasses.
So apparently the aluminum is protecting.
For a little bit. Of course, I can't see if they've changed. I'm gonna wait till we go indoors and find.
$200 Maui gems do
And
not
it's
work.
interesting because I did it reversed. I let mine brighten up, and then I put the protection on top of it, and I watched it fade.
Getting louder.
Yeah.
More sun. Getting more energy.
More sun, man.
Yep.
Because of the insulation. So that's what I'm trying to, like, the hindrance, that what if we just put the dome over this? Although I think we're gonna need it higher. I wonder if we have another one of these.
1.5 centimeters high, and then it's 19.5 wide and long. And then we've made our flaps, because we didn't like these flaps. And then we're gonna have about a 1/2 inch of insulation in there.
About a centimeter.
What are you using for insulation?
The styrofoam. We're gonna use the styrofoam.
So you get, look, and you get the reflection off the back of the pan. Whoa, I can't even look. I know. So we're getting reflection and direct sunlight.
That is so cute, and I do like the bowl. I mean, it will help insulate, but also it supports it.
So we'll put the newspaper underneath, then we'll bring the plastic to the front. And if we need to, we can put one layer of foil over here because we're gonna lose heat back here.
So concentrate, focused right here.
From escaping, we don't want the heat to escape out the sides because it's...
But now how are we going to keep the heat in? Because we're gonna have these little saran wrap. Can't cover the whole thing. How are we gonna do that? The angle of the sun so we can get the most amount of sun.
brighter
It
that
seems to be
way.
brighter
Yeah.
that way.
It's brighter if we hold
So I
that
think we
way.
need something right here.
But I like how the two panels are together because pulling a lot of that light straight down, which is important.
Maybe these needed to be angled out a little more so that way it'll go in.
The sun is there.
But they won't take very long to melt at all.
You might even...
What's in the box? For one thing.
Glistening.
Glistening? They're glistening because they're melting. And we used insulation to keep more heat in, and we went with aluminum, and because it's a good heat conductor.
We did also. We chose to have the panels so that way we could angle them to get the
Is that
sun
gonna
in.
blow open then?
No, it's sticky.
What do you expect to happen?
We focused more on keeping the heat in there so it would be a constant temperature for a longer amount of time.
We made sure there's a lot of really bright spots because even if there was a little bit of shade or a little bit of darkness, the really bright spots were going to get the hottest. So that's why we were checking to see where the bright spots were.
And we're expecting the water to heat in temperature, and we're expecting the chocolate chips to melt.
We did round. We made it round because we didn't want any corners or crevices where there wasn't sunlight getting. And then, of course, we put the reflective foil up above, so that would help reflect it. And we used the bottom foil plate because it was sturdy enough to hold the beakers of water, the cylinders of water.
Hers turns. Look how freely hers turns. Mine won't turn. That has a lot to do with it. Yeah. Your wings are different shapes. I have this hanging down thing, so I'm gonna shave that off.
Extra light, so I took a piece of string and I actually unthreaded the individual braids so that they would reduce the weight even more. I'm only going to attach one washer to it. I'm going really small, really lightweight. The hexagon shaped design, I think that would work.
I'm going to start with a square shape, and then I noticed, well, I can always go from a square and change it into by cutting off triangles, you know, a hexagon or an octagon. And there'll be string coming off each of the corners here, which will connect to a central point and then have weight hanging down. So I think as long as we can maintain the structure and keep it upright, we'll stay.
Ratios, mass to surface area ratio and the length to surface area ratios, and I'm going to try to match it in my model, but instead of a hexagon, I'm doing an octagon because it has more surface area.
Here we go.
Type it in here.
Oxygen from. We're just discussing the shell and how.
And propulsion. I don't want to hurt him. Who cares? Which one's the night one?
We put them back.
Hold really still. It's gonna roll over.
The ecosystem cycles, just to see how they had them drawn out, so I didn't want to miss any steps.
To hold it in place, like as a display, like on the shelf.
Well, I'm gonna make 2 ecosystems. Water and then terrestrial. And then have a combine with their in the middle.
Okay. What are you going to use to combine the two?
The thinner little water bottle.
Okay. Okay. And what kind of cycles do we have taken place? What are the producers, consumers, and all that?
Well, I have my sun, just energy. So these will be in the window. I'll have just like the earth, the soil, decaying matter on top. Then I'll have my seeds that grow, small plants, and they'll take in the carbon dioxide and produce oxygen. Then I'll have the water cycle occurring, and photosynthesis, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, all of that will be here. I'll have a worm. There's one living creature, and that'll be a consumer.
And the worm's also considered what? Also considered a decomposer as well.
So and then they'll keep the soil aerated.
Okay.
I have a snail as a consumer as well, and I'm interested to see if the snail will
Okay. Okay.
both.
Okay.
That's about it.
Patronus towers, if you did like 2 of them with that thing between. You ever seen that?
So what is the thing you're trying to solve here, Miss Jody? What are you trying to solve?
Trying to solve so this doesn't hang down and tip my ecosystem over, and so that this can stay flat with my
creatures that are in here and keep it level. What creatures are in there?
Because it would roll, and you had mentioned about hanging it. I knew I couldn't get it home until it had something to hold it. So we took the top off of a cup that somebody was going to throw away,
And we recycled it.
And we recycled it.